Hi, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, and also good morning. If you are joining us from different parts of the world, my name is Sharan Thaimade. I represent Seed Global Education. And over the next 1 hour, we have something really exciting in store for each and every one of you. We have King's College London and especially the King's Business School. And we learn a little bit about building career ready skills at the King's Business School. And we'll hear some insights from our experiential learning opportunities and some of the alumni stories. So we learn a lot from two wonderful people who we have invited, and they've been kind enough to spend some time to talk to each and every one of you on what you have in store. We'll talk about King's College London, some of the programs they have. We'll also hear a little bit about the admissions and application requirements. Since you are already here, you get some exclusive benefits. You get a chance to apply to some of the additional scholarships that are offered by Seed Global Education, and you get to learn, especially from the admissions directors, about how and what you must do if you want to build a career in the UK, particularly at King's College London and King's Business School. We are 120, we are 220 odd folks in this room already. So thank you so much for joining in large numbers. Thank you so much. I would like everyone in the chat to let us know which city you are joining us from. Which city are you joining us from? We would love to know. I'm just checking if the chat options are open for all. Yes, now you are allowed to message on the chat which city you are joining us from. Wonderful. We've got people here from New Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, Ranchi. A lot of folks from Delhi. So I think Martin has some fond memories of Delhi, also fond memories of a lot of other Indian cities, but certainly Delhi as well. We've got folks here from Kolkata, Aligarh, New Delhi. A lot of interest here from Mumbai and Delhi, Martin. So I think we have a lot of people here from Jaipur as well. Welcome, Aditya from Jaipur. Great, 250 of us here. And yes, we will take up some questions, Aryan. But what I'd like is that any kind of questions you have, please use the Q&A tab, because already it might get lost in the chat. So we'll open up Q&A, not right now. Let's take it for a little later on as well. Great. What we'll do is I'm running a quick poll, which you can see on your screen right now. This is a quick poll question that you will now be able to see. What is the most important consideration for you when choosing a business school or a program? Let us know. Yes, we've got 5 options. What is the most important consideration for you when you're choosing a business program? Is it the career prospects and employability, or is it the hands-on learning and industry exposure? Is it the reputation? And academic quality, flexibility of the program format, or some of the alumni success stories? I understand that a lot of you might feel that each of them have some level of importance, but we're looking at one of the most important reasons or most important considerations for you when you are thinking about selecting a business school or business program. I'm going to keep this open for the next 15 seconds. If you haven't written that in the poll, I would recommend that you do that. Let us know which is the most important consideration for you. Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm going to share results for the benefit of the panelists and also for the candidates as well. As you can see, that close to 75 odd percent, close to 80% rather, of folks are looking at two things. One is career prospects and employability, as well as hands-on learning and industry exposure. So these are the two things that have a lot of importance for candidates, especially in this masterclass. We have 280 folks that are here, and these are the two things that really excite these 280 odd people, which are career prospects, employability, and hands-on learning and industry exposure. So thank you so much for listening to that, to talk about that poll question. However, what I'll do very quickly is I'm going to introduce the two panelists that are here, because I know you want to hear from them. and not me, because they are the experts. I'm just here to liaise between them. But we've got King's College London representative, which is Martin Matos. He is the global partner manager at King's Business School, part of King's College London. And in his role, he leads international recruitment efforts, building and managing partnerships around the world to attract talented students from diverse backgrounds. His focus is on shaping student recruitment lifecycle for international markets, from outreach and engagement through applications and enrollments. So, effectively, if you are thinking about getting into King's College, he's the boss. He's going to let you know what you can do, what you should not do to find yourself in the heart of London and heart of King's College, specifically in London. We also have Anika here, and Anika is going to talk about this masterclass. And she is a career consultant at King's Business School, where she blends her experience across finance and coaching to support undergraduate business students with their career journey. She holds an ICF certified coaching diploma. She's previously worked for BPP, a private provider for qualification for professionals, where she supported finance apprentices to complete professional finance qualifications while also achieving their career goals. And Anika is here, and she's got a wonderful presentation prepared for all of us, so that we learn a little bit about how you can build career ready skills at King's Business School. And we'll hear from some alumni stories and experiential learning, which is what a lot of you are excited about. And that is an important element. So, Anika, Martin, thank you so much for taking out time to talk to these wonderful 293 folks that are in this room right now. And as promised, less of me and more of you. We'll hear from Martin in a bit, but firstly, over to you, Anika.
Perfect. So I should be able to just share my slides now. Yeah, is that sharing okay?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, we'll make a start. So, hi everyone, nice to meet you all and be here with you all today. I'm Anika, I'm a career consultant at King's Business School, as you heard. So today I'm going to be talking to you a bit about the careers offer at King's Business School and how we focus on helping students build career-ready skills whilst they're with us at the business school. So just to give a bit more detail around what I'll be covering for the next little bit of time. So an introduction to KBS careers, talking about what we offer our students. We're going to talk about what the in-demand skills are that employers are really looking for and how we as a business school equip our graduates to develop those skills. We'll also explore some of the experiential learning opportunities that are on offer at the business school, and we will dive into a couple of alumni stories and typical pathways that our alumni go on to follow. So just to kind of introduce the business school careers offering at a high level. So we have a lot of resources on offer to our students as a careers offering. We have resources to support students with career planning, career decision making, and also the practical side of careers, things like how to make a good CV, how to have a standout cover letter, how to actually prepare for interviews as well. We have a huge amount of activities, events, and real-world experiences as well that students can get involved in. So no matter what the interest is in terms of careers, there is something there to support, and we are really able to give each student that tailored support for what they're looking to do. And I'll be speaking about all of these elements in a little bit more detail through these slides. So each program in the business school has a dedicated 1 or 2 program career consultants. We offer expertise across a broad range of business sectors, so things like banking, finance, consulting, marketing, and more. All of our career consultants actually come from a business background themselves. So as you heard just before, my background is in finance. I'm an accountant by training. I work closely with a colleague whose background is in public relations and communications. We have people whose backgrounds are in finance and consulting. So we have a real wealth of knowledge in the team, on top of the fact that we are all qualified career coaches as well. So how do we support you? And this is where we can kind of talk through some of the detail of everything that's on offer to our students through KBS Careers. So career coaching appointments is one of the most used elements of our service. Every student can book a career coaching appointment with any of their program career consultants. These appointments are a really flexible space to get that one-on-one support that you are looking for. That support could be quite practical. So it might be with an application, a CV, a cover letter, interview practice, but it can be more coaching focused around decision making as well. So actually figuring out what is the next right move for me, or how do I decide what my next goal is. And it can be useful as well to navigate challenges like building confidence or building particular skills that you think are important for your role. Many of our programs also have timetabled career masterclasses as well. So currently I support postgraduate students on our marketing management and entrepreneurship programs. On those programs, there are career masterclasses that are put into the timetable. So there's 2 in semester 1 and 2 in semester 2. So what that gives students is a timetabled slot to focus on careers. There are many more optional opportunities as well that you can pick to suit your timetable, but there are some timetable sessions. So you know you're going to be getting some dedicated careers time. We also have a lot of careers tools and resources. Students at the business school are very busy. They have a lot going on, which you won't be surprised to hear. So it's really important that we have tools that are able to be used at any time, that are online, that suit that flexibility that students are looking for. And towards the end of the presentation, I'm going to cover a few more of those in detail. We have a huge amount of events that go on at the business school. So those are employer events, careers fairs. They're also events that we run. So skills building workshops, workshops to meet other people who are job searching in the same area, workshops to learn how to do a good CV, a good cover letter interview. So all of those topics that you might be wanting help on, we run workshops for all of those areas. As I said, there's a huge amount of events and workshops. So there's definitely too many things to attend and you can't attend everything, and that's on purpose. It's so that there is enough there to choose from and you can choose the things that are most relevant to you. We have a lot of international students at King's Business School. We have a really diverse business school. And as a result, we have some dedicated visa sessions that are run by our brilliant visa team. So they are helpful so you can really understand the visa situation. You can understand how to use that knowledge to navigate your career planning as well. Just moving through them, we also have our own jobs board as well. So we have a jobs board that students can look for part-time jobs on. They can also look for graduate opportunities there as well. It's a really helpful place to look for roles because every role that goes on there is vetted first by our internal team. So you can feel confident that every role there is vetted as being suitable for students or early graduates as well. And it just takes down the amount of due diligence you have to do yourself when you're looking at those opportunities. We have an amazing alumni community, and I'm going to come back to that a little bit later in some more detail. I'm also going to come back to our internships and work-related learning offering as well. And what I'm going to move on to now is talking about our business communication for career advancement course. So this is a 4-week program that's designed to really help students improve and develop their communication skills for a business environment. So it's really aimed towards international students. So if English is your second language, you might feel very confident in speaking English, but you might feel less sure about the language in a business setting and how to communicate in that particular setting. This program is designed exactly for that. So you can feel at the end of it, I'm really ready and confident to go into a work setting. And I've spoken to loads of students who've done this course. They find it hugely helpful in building confidence in this area. Also, for our international students, we have a Global Futures program. It's a really exciting week-long event where we have international alumni, industry experts coming to campus, coming online to talk about their experience when they were an international student or working with international students. So it's hugely helpful if you are an international student to hear from some of those alumni and hear how they navigated some of the challenges that you might be facing, but also how they found all of the opportunities and made the most of all of those opportunities as well. So it's very popular and a huge resource. And as I mentioned earlier, the visa series. So as I said, it's a huge help if you are thinking about how to navigate the visa situation, and the team is great at really simplifying that complex process and how to use that knowledge for your career planning. Okay, so I'm going to move on then to talk a little bit more now about skills and what actually is it that employers are looking for when they are coming to hire graduates? And that is a big question that you might have already started to wonder yourself. And I'm going to just start by sharing this, which is a really insightful graphic that's from the Institute of Student Employers. So they've done a survey where they've surveyed students and they've surveyed employers. And what we see here is what are the skills that students think that employers value the most, and what are the skills that employers actually do value the most in their graduates. And there's a few interesting points we can see from that. So students think that existing industry experience from this survey, they think that this is the number one skill that employers value. And you might relate to that yourself. You might be thinking, oh, I really need to get some experience, or I really want to get some experience. And what's interesting here is that employers actually put that as the least important thing that they are looking for. And that's not to say it's not useful. Of course, it is a huge benefit to have that experience, but it just shows that there is a gap between what students think is important and what employers truly value. What they actually have put number one as in the results from this survey is passion for the business. So something they are really keen to see before industry experience is that passion for the business. And the results of this survey really align to what we hear from employers as well. They really want to understand that students have thought about that employer, they've thought about why they want to work there, and they can really articulate that. So it's really useful to have this information so we can make sure that students actually understand what employers are looking for and are able to position themselves effectively with that in mind. Another interesting point here is resilience. So employers put that as the second most thing they're looking for. Students put that all the way down at number 8. So it might be that for some students, they are not even thinking about resilience. It's not even in their mind. They're completely focused on getting industry experience, when actually employers are really interested in hearing from students how they have demonstrated resilience and why they think it's important. So it's hugely important that students understand that, and therefore they are able to answer those questions and show those things that employers are really looking for. So with that in mind, what we have been doing, a piece of work we've been doing recently, is refining our graduate success profile, which is the wheel that you can see on the screen there. This profile highlights all of the skills that our students at the business school have the opportunity to develop whilst they are at the business school. And you can see there are a lot of different types of skills there. So adaptability and learning skills, cognitive skills, organization skills, personal strength skills, and so on. Now, this has been developed with the skills in mind that employers truly value. And what it shows is, as I say, all of the skills that as a student at the business school, you will have the opportunity to develop. Many of these skills you will develop just by attending and engaging with your course. Some of them you will develop by engaging with some of the extracurricular opportunities you have, some of which we're going to talk about today. And some of them might be skills that you actively choose to develop because you decide it's really important to the career path that you're interested in, or because it's a skill area that you want to develop or you think that you need to develop for yourself. So this is a hugely useful starting point. And what we're doing at the moment is a lot of work around this to make it even more impactful and useful, to make sure that our students and graduates are as ready as they can be for explaining to employers what their skills are and for meeting that criteria that employers are looking for. So we have a group called the KBS 20. That is a group of students who applied to be part of the KBS 20 and were selected to be a part of it. And what the KBS 20 is it's a group of 20 students who are given real life projects to work on with a project sponsor. One of those projects this year is all around skills, and I'm actually the project sponsor for that. And what we're doing in that particular group is we're going to try and better understand where is the gap between what students think is important. So we saw that on the last slide, that there's a gap between what students think is important and what employers are looking for. So what this project is going to do, and what the students are working on, is trying to bridge that gap so we can have a better understanding between employers and students, so students feel more confident that actually we really understand from a job description, or we understand from employers what is really important, and employers can feel that they are more confident that students are presenting the skills that they are really interested in. So it's a really interesting piece of work that's evolving, and it just shows the kind of amount of work that's going into really making sure our students have those skills that employers are truly looking for. So that brings me on quite nicely to talk about our experiential learning opportunities. So these are our opportunities that students have to get involved in to work on real life problems, real world experiences, where you're going to have the opportunity to develop and expand your skill set. We have a work-related learning team who work on offering lots of different opportunities for that real-world experience. And you can see some examples on the slide there. So just to pick a couple to talk to. So there are a lot of different micro-internships you have the opportunity to undertake. You'll be working on real client problems, areas like finance, strategy, ESG, marketing. We also have amplified trading opportunities. So they are simulations in key finance areas, things like M&A, trading, private equity, that has been set up by former finance professionals to help the students who undertake them develop those skills that they need to get into finance and excel in finance careers. Capco are a consultancy company. They offer this industry immersion opportunity where you work on a real life problem with them. We have the investment fund where students can develop their investment skills. They can work with academics to learn from them as well. And I'm going to come on to talk about some of the 48-hour startup and the consulting modules in the next couple of slides. So the 48-hour startup is a hugely popular, really exciting experience. It's a 2-day experience. At the start of it, you start with an idea, something you're passionate about, something you want to create. By the end of it, you've got a real life product or an app that you've made in those 2 days. So it equips you with some amazing skills, and it's very exciting. And everybody I know who's had the opportunity to do that speaks about it really fondly. If you're a finance student interested in finance, you have access to a finance trading room. There's also the Career Impact Program, which is a 3-day event that's delivered in partnership with leading employers, really focused on giving students those immersive employer-led sessions to help them with that professional development. On the consultancy side, so our public policy and management students have the opportunity to undertake a consultancy module. In that module, they are actually getting the opportunity to solve real public policy and management problems for voluntary organizations or public sector organizations. So again, that opportunity to just have that real world experience and develop those skills that the employers are looking for. On the management and technological change masters, there is the design sprint program. So that happens across 5 days. Students work in groups to tackle real world problems and challenges that are posed by industry professionals. And that's under the guidance of a leading design sprint expert. So as you can see there, these are just some examples, but really demonstrate the amount of real world opportunities that you have to get involved in at the business school. There's also a huge amount of employer engagement. So every semester, we're running a number of employer events and alumni events. So that might be a careers fair, it might be an online presentation, it could be an in-person presentation, it could be a panel event. So huge amounts of events that happen. And these are a fantastic opportunity to really learn more about the career path you're interested in or about a particular employer that you're interested in. This is something to really make the most of as a student. This is why I always tell students, to hear from these employers and alumni who are working in roles or companies that you're interested in is an amazing opportunity. And, at the very least, you're going to gain information that's going to help you to decide where you want to go. You might even gain things that you can talk about in the application process, and you might have the opportunity to build your network as well. So on the slide, we've got some of the examples of some of the companies that we engage with, but there are many more as well. As I touched on earlier, we have an amazing engaged alumni community, and they are very keen and willing to talk to existing students. They love being able to give back and help and share the insights that they've had from the journeys that they've been on. So I always recommend students make the most of any touch points you have with alumni. They have been where you are now and they've gone a lot further, and they can share a lot of insights from the pathways that they've been on. So our students go on to work in a huge amount of areas, and so there are alumni across all kinds of career paths, all kinds of companies, and we have lots of opportunities for you to get in touch with them and talk to them through your time at the business school. And what we'll do now is actually zoom into a couple of really nice alumni stories. So starting with Tanya, she was one of our ESG management students. She graduated just this year. And you can see her quote on the slide there, and just to pick out a few points. So she talked about the real value for her was the experiential learning opportunities. She mentioned that they were given so many chances to actually work with real organizations on real challenges. So she completed a micro internship. She also did the consulting project that I just mentioned as well. Those experiences helped her to build things like confidence, communication skills, as well as technical skills that she could market and talk about in her applications. And now she's working at a charity, Wheel Cycle Trust, analysing data and really enjoying being able to use the skills that she built up over her time at the business school in this role. We've also got Ria, so she's one of our banking and finance graduates, again, graduated this year. She described her journey at the business school as one of the most transformative phases of her life. So she got involved in a huge amount of opportunities. She did some equity research for the King's Investment Fund. She also completed a consulting micro internship, participated in global industry visits, and was an elected student representative as well. She also speaks there about the fact that she engaged with the careers team, and that really helped her gain the clarity over what she wanted to do and build her confidence in her application skills and career planning skills as well. And a lovely way that she ends there and says all of those experiences, led her to grow, lead, and prepare her for that global finance industry. So that's really kind of sums up the experience that many of our students have at the business school. So what do our graduates actually go on to do? Zooming out a little bit, many things. So we have graduates who go on to work in all kinds of sectors. This is just a snapshot on the screen. So banking and financial services, accounting, consultancy, tech, government and public sector, retail, FMCG, manufacturing, real estate, marketing, comms, PR. So a huge amount of sectors and more beyond this as well. And we've got a snapshot on the screen there for some of the companies that our graduates have gone on to work for. This is just a snapshot. There are many more companies, there are many more career pathways as well, too many to include on a slide, but it gives you an idea of some of those areas that our graduates are interested in and go on to work for. So you'll remember earlier I mentioned that we have resources that students can use anytime, so 24/7 online resources. And that's something that is really important, as I said, because students are very busy. You can't attend all of the events that happen, but you can always access these online resources. So I'll just give you a bit of an overview of what these are. So we have VMark, our AI tool. That is a tool where if you upload your CV, you're going to get line by line feedback on every part of your CV. There are also templates there. So if you are thinking, I have no idea where to start with a CV, I don't know what a good CV looks like, you can actually find a template there that has been designed with the careers team to be a strong CV for a business school student for the types of roles that business school students tend to go on to do. You will also get a score with VMark, and that score is benchmarked against all business school students. So the only people that use this platform are business school students. So you can be confident with your score that this is going to stand out around similar peers and people that will be applying for similar jobs to you. We have Shortlist Me, an AI video platform, a chance to practice your video interviews. Again, you can get feedback from the platform on that video interview. And all of these elements are things that you can bring to a careers appointment as well. So you can bring your video interview feedback and discuss it with a career consultant and get that tailored feedback from them as well. eCareers Grad gives you an interview technique tutorial. So interviews is an area that many people find nerve-wracking, and this is an area we have a lot of support available for. You can also have practice interviews with a career consultant too. Graduates First, if you want to practice psychometric tests, there's loads of psychometric tests that are available there. And Case Coach is our consulting platform. So if you're interested in consulting, that has a number of resources to help you get ready for those applications. So this is just a snapshot of our key resources. We have other resources as well, but what it shows you is there's a lot of support available no matter what stage of the application process you need support for. And that brings me to the end of my section, and I'm ending here with a nice slide of us, the careers team, and we're looking very happy because we just won a Team of the Year award. So hopefully that's been helpful, and I think I'm handing back to Sharon.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Anika. I think that was, super exciting. Congratulations on all the 300, on behalf of all the 300 people here on this wonderful award. I think you guys are doing a great job to help national and international students look for career opportunities and actually build their career. Um, Thank you so much. That was Anika. Next up, I'd like to invite Martin, and Martin will talk to us a little bit about some of the programs, the eligibility criteria, and all that good stuff that might help you take that flight from wherever you are to London to study at King's College. So, Martin, over to you.
Great. Well, hi everyone. Uh, Sorry, can you all hear me? Perfect. Hi everyone. My name is Martin. Allow me to share my screen first to figure the technical stuff. Should be... Oops. Can you see my screen now?
Nope, not yet.
This always happens the least when you expect it. Okay. Try to. And they should be coming up. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Perfect. Lovely. Right. Well, very tough act to follow. Just want to congratulate on the award for the careers team. It's very well deserved. I think I need to say, I always say this line when I speak to the students at King's Business School, the best compliment they always give me about our careers team is actually complain, but it's a complaint I really love. They said there is so much happening, we find hard to attend it all. So the opportunities are really there. And I never forget this quote for the student. But welcome everyone. My name is Martin. I am the faculty partnership manager or global partnership manager for King's Business School. Prior to my job at King's, I used to recruit for over 100 universities at UK. And I hope after this session, you will gain a better understanding what actually admissions of the top school will look at. So without further ado, as I have a very limited time, firstly, when talking about the King's Business School, well, you probably heard about King's College London, of course, one of the most established, fourth oldest university in UK. Soon we're going to celebrate 200 years. We are ranked as an institution, 31st in the world. And there is various other achievements, of course, as you can see, 14 Nobel laureates we produced and various other rankings, which you can check yourself. But really today I'm here to concentrate on the business school, which is the youngest faculty out of the all faculties at King's College London. So today I will take you briefly in my limited time through introduction. We will look at some of the elements of the admissions and some of the common mistakes and final tips. And at the end, I will like to share with you some unique invitation for a session where we will look at much more in the detail. So who we are as a business school, this really comes back from the students. We are seen as a diverse community and friendly community. We are very diverse institutions, and we are constantly, even as a young faculty, ranked at some of the top rankings within the subject. Here you can see some of the subjects, but what I would like to bring to your attention really is that accreditation. Did you know there is around 6,000 business schools around the world? And as of today, 145 are triple accredited business schools. That makes it less than 1%. And not only that, we are actually the fastest triple accredited business school. And I know how rankings are important and you need lots of data and history for that. But this accreditations really look at the whole ecosystem of the institution. And this is recognized not only by the academic world, but by the employers, by the job market as well. So I really would like to bring attention to that. We are located at the heart of London, which, like I said, I will discuss more in my next session, but that brings our unique position into opportunities. We are ranked 14 in the way of inviting as a college companies, by the companies, most targeted institution, allows us to bring over 500 speakers annually. We engage with the policymakers, so really surrounded by every department or every industry you can think of. We are quite unusual business school, and we are very proud of it, actually. Majority of our students are female. I speak with my colleagues from other top institutions around the world, or top business schools, and this is a great balance to have. And we are probably the group of now 3,500 students. And as mentioned, very diverse. But not only that, I really wanted to highlight that this year, actually, 20 professors, only from the business school, has been ranked in the top 2% of the scientists by Stanford. And this is important. These are the professors. We are research institutions, but as you could see, on a few of the examples, we offer opportunities for the practical learning as well, which is embedded into the curriculum or through supporting departments which we have for our students. But these are the professors which are constantly involved in the latest research, which is also embedded into your curriculum as well. And before we jump into the admission part, I really wanted to share about, I know scholarship is a big theme, and so it should be. And this year particularly, we have so many scholarships on the offer, and I will speak about it again in my next session in more detail. But just to summarize it, we offer our own postgraduate scholarship for all of our 15 programs, which I will show you soon. On top of that, for 2026, we managed to secure partnerships. If you're a passport holder of any of the countries listed, as you can see below, then you can apply for this scholarship as well. And on top of that, and please keep an eye on, this is particularly Vice Chancellor Awards for 2026, the details to be out soon. And this is unique scholarship to an India domiciled students, which will be available for 2026 intake. I spoke briefly about the community, and my colleague Anika touched on the alumni. So let's look at the programs, and we don't have the time to go through all of them. Just to give you a picture, we got 15 full-time postgraduate programs. We receive roughly around 13,000 applications each year between these programs, and you will find, well, I hope everything. I mean, not everything. There's no university which offers everything, but it's important that you look into really the program deeper of your interest, and I speak about it a little bit later. But we have interesting programs in management, most popular international management. You can apply with any academic background. We got specialized program in marketing, finance, 6 finance programs, quite very specific ones. Very popular for students from India, our strategic entrepreneurship and innovation program, and or specialized in medical technology, which is a combination between engineering, business, and health sciences faculty. So overall, 15 programs at our faculty business school. But let's look at the general, what actually the top business schools are looking for. Now, we cannot go through every point, but I speak with my colleagues. If you're looking at King's College London and Business School, you're probably looking at my colleagues from other top institutions. I don't need to name them all, I'm sure you're aware. And really the first thing that any institution will look at would be that strong academic foundations. Your grades, your subjects, so their solid performance within your bachelor degree. If you're thinking of a postgraduate degree, it's really the starting point where every admission starts. Of course, how do you highlight your qualities in the next one? These are not in that specific order how you should look at them, but I really wanted to touch on a few of them. Your motivation and your career goals. And this is not only that we want to hear that from you, because every institution is designed and every program, we want to help you to get where you want to get, if I really put it bluntly. So we really want to make sure that you communicate your motivation and your career goals throughout your personal statement. Of course, we're looking for students which have certain analytical and critical thinking skills, and as well as global mindset. So, talk about it. We can touch on it in the personal statement, on your skills which you gain through your extracurricular activities or your experiences you did, and how they are applicable. And of course, the program fit. And not only the program fit, but also look at the vision of the school or the university which you're applying to. Each university has its own strategy. King's College London has one for 2030, Business School Making World a Better Place. It's just not a marketing tool. It's really, we build everything around it, and we're looking for future responsible leaders which will make that positive impact within locally or globally. We do not require working experiences for any of our programs, I should mention that, and we do not require GMAT or GRE. So how your admission evaluates your applications. I think I kind of mentioned it in the first slide. The key are your academic results. So your GPA or CGPA, if you're coming from certain countries, or various other measurements, percentage. And of course, certain programs will have their own subject requirements. So a great example is to use the finance programs. There will be a requirement for some quantitative modules. We're not going to go deep into entry requirements because you can find under every program, no matter where you study around the world, on our website. And I really touch, so it's going to look at the grades, it's going to look at your personal statement in our case, and your reference letter, which comes directly from the referee. As mentioned before, we do not require GMAT or GRE. So really where you got your opportunity to stand out of the number of applications is your personal statement. My time is really running low, so I'm really flying through it. So how do you strengthen your personal statement? Look, personal statement is called for a reason. There is no recipe for perfect one, but there is a recipe for a bad personal statements. And I've seen few. So really, we recommend students to start with your motivation and your academic story. Do not spend too much time on your what you achieve within your grades. We will see that through your transcript. But listing your skills or linking your skills or projects you've done and the skills you gain to the program you apply to, that's kind of a key. So I always say to students, really don't just tell me what you did. Sometimes less is more. Tell me what you did, what is applicable. Highlight the relevant projects and highlight the leadership or responsibilities you had. So, and transferable skills such as teamwork, communication, analysis. If you've done some projects, if you participated, if it could be during your studies or outside of your studies, would be really helpful to mention. As for some common mistakes, I cannot highlight this enough. It's a generic personal statement. And I like to speak in examples, and I really have seen it myself. This was a postgraduate application where I've seen, I would like to study finance. That was the opening, because I want to become a millionaire. I think when you put this kind of a personal statement in front of the top professors, academics, which will be reading that, it doesn't really inspire. Your motivations to study, have a goal, have a target. Nobody is asking you that you need to know exactly what position, what you want to do in the future. That's why we have so many supporting teams within the King's College London to help you find your pathway. But at the postgraduate level, there is a little bit bigger expectations that if you would be applying for your undergraduate degree. I don't think that link between the undergraduate studies and chosen programs, that only applies to certain programs. There are programs at business school, for example, the international management, which are actually created for students coming from non-business. So the link only applies to certain ones. It would be a natural progression within your career path, more towards the specialized programs. And of course, one of the common mistakes is that your career goals, if you already know what it is and it's clear, do not match the program focus. And we don't want that. Like I mentioned in the beginning, there is no institutions which doesn't want to help you to get where you want to get. So we want to make sure that the correct program, and this comes down to your research, this comes down to reaching out, attending online session. There is way too many options. So the final tips, as I'm a little bit over time, applying really helps. And I will talk about it in another session. Doesn't mean you are disadvantaged if you apply later, and don't rush your application. Show really the genuine motivations for the program. Show us that you did your research. Show us that you went beyond the website of the program. And this one is not really for your application, but when I speak to my colleagues from careers, keep an eye on the graduate schemes early. Being successful, I learned that only from our careers team when I started with King's there. Lots of the schemes are actually opening before you even start your course. So the proactive students, I always believe, will succeed. Which leaves me out of time, but I will be actually running, and I wanted to invite you all tomorrow. We actually have the King's is doing, and I saw some questions for engineering. Very open week of numerous sessions. I'm doing bigger session tomorrow. You're more than welcome to register for it, where I will discuss really more into the details. We will look at the employability data. We will look at the pretty much the scholarship into more details, as you can see, some of the alumni stories. So go a little bit in the depth of how to apply and so on. So if you're interested, I want to leave some time for the Q&A. I'm really flying through this. Please register yourself, and I hope to see you tomorrow. And it will be run as an open call. Whew. I'm out of breath.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Martin. I think that was really insightful, and we got some great ideas about, King's Business School. As Martin mentioned, we will send you information about the event that's happening tomorrow, which is where, Martin's elevator pitch that lasted 10 minutes here will be slightly longer and more in depth tomorrow, where you'll get a lot of questions answered in there as well. Um, a few questions, and I've been working on summarizing some of the questions that have come in the Q&A tab. And one thing that has stood out from the Q&A, which was not asked, but I know that every student might ask that at some stage or the other, at least might think that during their application journey, is a little bit about my new best friend, Martin. I have a new best friend, and I use my best friend very often, and his or her name is ChatGPT. And when I use ChatGPT, and I'm using that maybe to do a lot of my daily tasks for emails and stuff like that, but students also use that for writing applications. Now, what is your take, individually, maybe as King's admissions director, what is your take on using AI tools that would help students write their essays and take care of that?
Right. Okay. AI is a. It's been AI has been here forever, machine learning, but since ChatGPT, I'm really happy to say that at King's College overall, not only business school, when the AI first popped out, that all the story about ChatGPT, we have actually been encouraging students. We have not been one of the institutions which were kind of demotivating students of using it, but using it correctly and using it right. Now, when it comes to the application particularly, I will not touch on the professor's view on that. We don't discourage to use the AI, but use it as a last source. So in a great example I hear from students, use it to check your grammar. That's all okay. Maybe when you write because with our application, really the piece you need to write is your personal statement or the statement of purpose. It's called personal for a reason. Do not let the AI to write it completely for you. Don't forget some programs, particularly international management, have a video interview. You could be asked questions, something related to your personal statement. So yes, the short answer is we don't discourage to use it. It is a great tool. It's the tool which will just be developed. It's here. It's a big topic. You look at the World Economic Forum. Again, I will touch on it tomorrow. Presentation skills, which will be in demand in 2030, and so on. There is nothing. There's no way to avoid the AI, but please use it only at the end to feature to structure. Trust me, in terms of application, in terms of the personal statement, you're gonna have better feedback about. It's one of the advices I will give you. Share your personal statement with people who knows you, your family, your academic, your professor, who you worked on the project, for example. So use it, but really towards the end for the very, very small advice or feedback as well, what could be better. And trust me, as the technology is developing up front, it's developing in the background of the admissions as well. And there are systems which eventually or can spot certain very if everything was written through the AI. Because if I could share examples, I could, but I cannot share these. You can see personal statement which were written purely by AI. It's a very generic personal statement I've seen myself.
Wonderful. No, I think that's really sound advice. Thank you so much. And it's an important question, when it comes to, applications, because everyone's using ChatGPT for a lot of these things. Anika, there have been some questions around experiential learning and, some of these things. And as someone that focuses on careers and career development, what do you encourage students to do, while they are on campus apart from classes? What are some of the tools that they can use? What are some of the experiential learning opportunities that King's College provides? If you can throw a couple of examples, because there were a lot of questions around experiential learning, which I think is something that King's College also really focuses on, as per what you can read about King's on the website and stuff like that. Could you throw a couple of examples of some of the recent experiential learning projects or opportunities that international and national students would be able to avail of?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, something I would definitely recommend is early on meeting with a career consultant, having that one-on-one appointment and talking about what your career goals are. And it's absolutely fine if they're not clear. You might just have a vague idea, but spending some time with a career consultant to work those out, that will help shape and help you understand what skills you actually want to look at developing and what experience you actually want to get during your time with the business school. So having that clear first would be the first step. Then, when you have a good idea of the skills that you really want to develop or the type of experience that you're looking for, that will help you to narrow down what kind of opportunities to get involved in. So, I shared some of those in my presentation today. So, for example, the KBS 20 is one that I'm working with currently. So, that's something that students can apply for. They will have the opportunity to work on a project that's going to have an impact for students. There are 4 different projects they can get involved in if they're elected, and they can choose which one to get involved in. So, the one I'm working on is the skills project, working directly with employers, so actually meeting with employers to understand from them about what skills they're looking for and work with them to find a bridge between students and employers. So it really gives you that opportunity to have that real face-to-face contact with employers. Similarly, depending on what program you're on, you'll have certain module opportunities. Like I mentioned with the PPM program, you have the consultancy module where you're going to work on a real life problem from a public sector organization. So depending on your program, you will have particular opportunities as well. There are great societies at King's as well. Many of the societies at King's get involved with real clients and work on projects with real clients. And they find a lot of those opportunities themselves within the student group. They contact the employers themselves, they get involved with real opportunities. So if there's an area you're interested in, and it might not even be the area that you want to do your career in, but there might just be something that you have an interest in, a hobby in, there will be a society for it. There are so many societies, and they all get involved with some great opportunities as well. So I think the first thing, as I say, the main thing would be have that appointment with the careers consultant early on, and they can kind of sit down with you and talk about what might be the best experiences that I can pick to get involved in.
Perfect. And as Martin also said earlier, that the one complaint that he hears from students is that there are so many things happening that you have to pick and choose what you can do. Martin, my next question to you, and it is something that one candidate Divya has asked in the chat is there is a buzzword that admission directors use very often, right? And not just you, but across different like universities, and we hear a lot of this one buzzword is a favorite word for admissions directors is called the holistic admissions process. Could you explain what the real meaning of holistic admission process is? If my undergraduate grades were not great, do I not have any chance of getting into King's College, London King's Business School? How do you look at if one element of my profile isn't as great as what it should be?
Thank you for the question. Yeah. Yes, holistic approach. Okay, let me be honest. And like I said, we speak when we travel out there, and I travel with, I can name them LSE, UCL, top business schools. Really, the holistic approach, yes. So we look at every element of your application. That is correct. But there is my colleague in any of the institutions which is not going to tell you your grades. Your overall grades, depends on the program, are the most important. This is where you start, really. Does that mean that if you do not meet the entry requirements we ask for, that you are automatically rejected? No, that's not it. That is not the case. I speak with the program directors quite often. Obviously, I speak with the admissions. Now, if we advertise something, and even if you look at our entry requirements, I will speak for business school now, King's Business School particularly, we do mention if you are slightly below. However, I cannot give you exact measurement because you could be students who study under various systems at these sessions. And also in India particularly, we know the grading system varies, the university level varies, so it's a little bit more complicated. But let me use as an example American GPA. If we ask for a 3.5 GPA out of 4, and then students, and I do that all the time. I'm an international student myself, so I'm pretty bit passionate about this. And students reach out to me and tell me, Martin, I have 2.5, but I have 5 years working experiences. I can tell you that no top institution such as King's Business School, your work experiences would replace that to 1.0 GPA on the scale of for. So each program will have a certain or different or none. Really, it's a program to program, because the holistic approach, where it comes in our admission into the place. Admission look at your application and tick the boxes. Yes, you are undergraduate student. Yes, you might have IELTS. You don't need them at the point of application, but they tick the boxes. But then the director of the program or co-director of the program will look at the application based on the recommendations of the admissions, what to look at. Have I myself recommended the students before which were slightly below our entry requirements? Yes, I did. But like I said, it needs to be taken within the pinch of salt of that. But we do look at every element of your application. There are certain things which needs to, which there is no negotiation, such as English language requirement, no negotiations on that point. There are opportunities if you're slightly below, but we can talk about it on another session. But generally speaking, your grades are where you start with. That's the most important. And then depends on the program, really.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. So yes, you have chances of making up this. I'm going to stay with you, Martin. There's a question, then you'd like to answer that question as well, about King's Business School having the Triple Crown accreditation, which, as you mentioned, not many schools around the world hold. How does this actually translate into advantages for students? Because that's a question when I was a student I had in my mind as well. Well, you might be, having all these crowns, but like, am I going to surely get
Yeah,
a job?
I mean, it is a question to players, and the day I learned, I mean, going through the accreditation process, it's I haven't participated. There's so much of involvement, and I don't know how I would need an hour even to go through it. And there is a part I need to learn. But really, what it is a stamp of recognition, and they got different approach. You got the ASCSB, you got the Equis, you got the AMBA. It's kind of an executive one. It's not only the brand that is recognized, but they will look at every element within your institution, that ecosystem, the support services. I don't know, ASCSB, for example, accreditation requires at least 90% of the teaching staff are actually academically and professionally qualified, and they look at it. For the Equis, they evaluate internalization, so including existing partnerships, exchange options on the global curriculum. So really each of these elements, so how does it translate? I mean, the student really, how is it beneficial to you? You will not have, how to answer it correctly, you will not have this accreditation. They look at the study environment, the technology, the tool support which are available to you. It's a really, really, really scrutinized process to go through. And you have to tick all these boxes. And it's not just a ticker box, you get scored on each element. It's a great kind of internal audit because it shows you if there is room to improve. But we're talking about I want to lie to you how many pages we had to submit it. It was over 150 pages. So they really look at every element, they break it down. And of course, this comes with, that reflects then onto the support which is available in the services to the student of the whole ecosystem. I hope that answers the questions. We can really look into it deeper, but they each have different things they look at and way they measure it.
So I think that is important just from a brand perspective for the student getting into that particular university, helps with some of the career aspirations because you do that as well. Anika, because you speak to a lot of students, a lot of international students, maybe a lot of Indian students as well that come on campus and look for career opportunities, what are some of the things that you have noticed that you wish that international students, before they catch that flight from Mumbai, from Delhi to come to London, would know a little bit about, like the culture, a little bit about expectations? I think there's a question by Sayed about cultural awareness and contributing to a diverse cohort seems important. What are some ways that applicants can effectively demonstrate this global mindset? And I'm not looking at it just from a admissions perspective, even how they imbibe into a very global city like London. What are some of the challenges that you've seen international students face, and how can they overcome it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I guess, I mean, it's definitely kind of integrating into a new culture is always going to be challenging and present some challenges sometimes for international students. Something that is really great with the business school, and all the courses have elements of allowing you to have opportunities to work with other students, to work in groups, do group work, opportunities like that. And I really recommend students to embrace any of those opportunities when they do come, to kind of learn from working with other people, learn from other perspectives, and really make the most of that diversity. In terms of kind of understanding some of the differences, again, I would say early on from a careers perspective, really worthwhile coming to a careers workshop early on, or booking a careers one-to-one appointment early on, and talking to the consultant about some of your questions, some of the things that you might be trying to understand about the UK specifically, or about how you can make the most of your time in London. And that's something that we can obviously help you with. And the earlier you can have those conversations and do those things, the better, so you can really make the most of that year ahead. I think in terms of ahead of the course, anything you can do to kind of feel as confident as possible about coming to this new city, and that might look different for everyone. It might be around language skills, it might be around, researching best place to live, whatever it is, but really doing as much research as you can about what it's going to be like when you're there, and then making the most of those opportunities as soon as you get there. I don't know, Martin, if you'd have anything you'd add to that.
Oh, I always have something to, but thank you. So as a person who is not English, who came to this country and lived in 12 different countries, really, the advice, okay, before the arrival, I'm going to start with when you arrive. I always describe it in the one sentence. Go into the situation, uncomfortable situation, because you will improve as a person. And what I mean uncomfortable is do not just stick around your community. Before the arrival, engage with our students, engage with alumni. We really highly recommend you do that and ask them about their experiences. We have the options. You can speak to our current students, you can speak to the alumni, reach out to them in the LinkedIn. They're super helpful. I really need to bring the story of the Ria, which actually Anika shared about. I met Ria in Mumbai when that time she was not confident even to apply. Now she just finished her graduate placement at McKinsey. McKinsey, yes, one of the biggest companies. And I'm so proud to watch the journey. But this student, Ria particularly, she throw herself into everything. And this is where, again, it comes back to that opportunities that King's College London, particularly business school offers, because we got some extra than the rest of the faculties. Throw yourself into that career fairs, into that meetings, into speaking with alumni. Go out there, communicate, because these are one of the most valuable skills. And we touched on that. Employers will be valuing cultural awareness and so on. So before your arrival, you have, again, opportunities to engage. Will everybody answer? Maybe not, but that's okay. If you don't try, you will not get there. So really, that would be what I would be adding to it, if that helps.
It does, and a great a great exponent of engaging has been Martin, because knowing him personally, especially based on one trip, I think he is someone that you can learn from a lot, and in the week or two that we spent with Martin, I think there was a lot of learning and a lot of great things that we learned. So Martin is the person that you will talk to if you are looking to apply. And I know that a lot of you are. I know some of you have reached out to me personally as well before this conversation. There is an opportunity for you to know in depth and more information about Kings. This, unfortunately, we don't have enough time for more conversations, but once you get into Kings and once you look for your careers, Anika and her team will help you out with what, to direct you to a path about what you can do with your career as well. Thank you so much, Martin. Thank you so much, Anika, to spend a little over an hour as planned. And thank you to the 230 of you that are still intently listening in. Just, before you go, Anika, one thing that you'd like to give as advice, and then Martin, I'll leave for one piece of advice that may be something we haven't covered so far, that if you were an international applicant, what would you think, Anika?
That's a good one. I would say I would say put yourself out of your comfort zone. So, go for things that you want, even if it feels, a big stretch at this point. And the same if you do come to Kings and you start a course, try new things, try new opportunities, even if it feels outside of your comfort zone. That's where the growth happens and amazing things can happen.
Thank you, Martin.
Where do I start? That was the say I was looking for. Put yourself out of comfort zone. You see, and it didn't get to my head. You find a way, communicate a different way. Well, as an international student myself, look, I do understand. I interact with India a lot. I've been there not once. This is not only for India but globally. Today, don't see the education as a cost. Look at it as an investment. Talking from the personal experience, really do. I do understand that making that decision, it's not easy. I do understand there is a financial burden, and we do try to help as much as we can, of course. But the reality is there is always going to be a kind of a cost into your education be there, but look at the return on investment. Do your research, do your due diligence, ask the questions, attend online sessions, because you are probably, if you're at this session, you are at the stage now where you're considering, is this the right step for me? Shall I wait for another year? Shall I even consider education? We know it's happening. The world is a really changing kind of a place at the moment and in every sector. So um, that would be my one advice. And then, I can't repeat it enough. Put your really out there and uncomfortable positions. Just do it. Do it. Step out of your comfort zone. That's what makes you improve the most. I lived in 13 countries, and after my education, I think the most valuable, again, education was by interacting with different cultures, learning about them. That critical thinking, debating with my friends, with my colleagues. That's what you're going to do within the class, challenging each other. It's the beauty of it. But so yeah, I can talk. Yeah, this is my problem. I don't know how to stop. But yes, please don't see education as a cost. See it as an investment. But look further beyond your education.
Absolutely, and your decision will not just impact you, your career, but also your family, your generations, one that's currently there and also in the future as well. And one thing we haven't said, London is one of my favorite cities to visit. So once you go to London, you'll be at London should be the capital of the world, not just from an economics perspective, but also from a culture perspective, from sports, and like it has everything. So it's not just King's College, but it's also
It's a
the
great
city that
city.
you're going. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's a
came here
great city.
originally for 2 years. It's been 21. And I moved a little bit out. It is a great city. It's a city of opportunities. Yeah, we got to work on that weather. That's good. But I think that it's the summer is great, but that's about it. It is really a great city to be in.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Martin. Thank you so much, Anika. Thank you so much for the 200 folks of you that are still waiting in. There are more sessions that King's Business School organizes. One's happening tomorrow itself, and Martin will be able to go a little deeper into some of the elements that he'd like to cover about this. But this was a trailer. You'll have the whole picture that is waiting for you, but you have to apply and do a great job at your application. And wonderful people like Martin can help you get in there. And once you're in there, wonderful people like Anika can help you on your career path. Thank you so much once again, Martin, Anika, and take care, everyone. Happy application, and Seed Global Education will help you out with any questions that you might have. Thank you. Goodbye and good night. Bye.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone. Bye.